Eating healthy, buying eco-friendly products, and supporting local entrepreneurs is a choice consumers make every day. ECHOstore helps make that choice possible and easier. But can promoting a sustainable lifestyle be a sustainable business? I'm Michael Imurong, and this is Bright Ideas. Joining us is Chitwan, founder of ECHOstore. Chit, how are you?
Good.
Chit, on your website, you say that ECHOstore pioneered the first concept store of its kind in the Philippines. How would you describe what ECHOstore is?
Well, when we started, I would say 7 years ago, there was no such category of what we call the sustainable lifestyle store.
What exactly does it mean to be a lifestyle store?
Well, a sustainable lifestyle store means that you offer everything that a person needs in having a lifestyle that's healthier, what you would call probably conscious consumerism. Like, we're all consumers, but you want to be mindful of the environment, you want to be mindful of other people, so that way you live a sustainable lifestyle.
What was the inspiration?
Well, I've been in coffee a long time, probably over 20 years. And in my trips around the country looking for coffee, I found a lot of these products that were good but just needed access to markets. So I would ask the farmers and mostly women, small enterprises, small entrepreneurs, I'll ask them, where do you take these products? And they say, oh, we just sell it in the fiesta, we sell it in a trade show, but nothing that is, again, sustainable.
What made you think that this type of concept, that ECHOstore has, could work?
For one thing, I was looking for the products. So I was already the market. Secondly, our friends, are looking for things, and most of it would be imported. Most of these healthy products would be very expensive.
Right.
So we saw a confluence of events that made this all happen. One is helping local farmers, and second is serving the public with quality local products.
Now, it seems like ECHOstore has a number of different advocacies. So whether it's providing market access to the marginalized, environmental or ecological, ensuring the sustained ecological support. So there's a lot of different things that you're sort of advocating for. What exactly is the mission of ECHOstore?
So people used to say people, planet, profit, or triple bottom line.
Right.
But actually, everybody likes good products that also do good to people. So that's the social enterprise part of it. Second is gender. We're women entrepreneurs. Most of our micro entrepreneurs and SMEs are women-led enterprises.
Okay.
And the third is green. Green is pervasive. Green can be anything from our not using plastic bags as much as we can. Green can be using cups and no sachets, and green permeates everything that we do, including planting trees. I think that sort of encapsulates our mission and our vision to be the go-to retailer when you want to feel good, eat good, and do good.
For the benefit of our viewers, how would you describe, what kinds of products you're offering?
We have what we call 3 concepts: the ECHOstore, which sells just about everything, dry goods, etc. We have the Echo Market for the fresh produce, and we have the Echo Cafe. The Echo Cafe will serve you the salad even before you go home with the vegetables. So you can try it. What does organic taste like?
You initially started with the ECHOstore, right? And then the other 2 came about maybe a couple of years after.
The market came about because our friends, so we would grow our own vegetables, because I guess that was the best way we could vet the products by walking the talk.
Right.
And I always tell people, you can come with me and you can pick it and eat it from the soil. So we grew our own vegetables, and my friends would say, can I buy vegetables? I don't have to have a salad in your store all the time. I want to buy it and do it at home. And that's how the Echo Market came about.
And how does that relate then to the cafe and tie into the store?
Okay, so when you're in the store, you're buying everything, chocolates, whatever you need. And then body products, you're buying home cleaning solutions at the store.
Right.
In the market, you buy what you would buy in a weekend market, except for every day. So with the proliferation of weekend markets, some people don't have time in the weekend. Some people do other things on a weekend.
Right.
So we decided to open an everyday market called the Echo Market.
Got it.
So everything you look for in a weekend market, like vegetables, meats, fish, would be in the Echo Market. But then, as a consumer, you'd say, how do I know what it tastes like? So we offer it in our menu.
So that's what the cafe then offers.
Correct. So the cafe becomes our default R&D lab, if you will,
Right.
where if I want to try a new jelly, try it in a salad dressing, I can do that.
Now that the three of those are operating simultaneously, I'm curious, which of those is doing the best?
Actually, the best is a combination of the three. That's
a good answer.
That is the magic formula, if you will. We do have stores that are just stores,
right,
but people look for the produce.
Right.
I have not yet done just a cafe. Because when you're in the cafe, people will say, I want to buy this. I want to buy this coffee. I want to buy this chocolate.
It's really the synergy of the three that's really making ECHOstore really different.
Thank you for that term. It's really synergistic. It completes what we call the loop. So from planting all the way to eating, it's really a farm to table and more.
And you also have another outfit. I think is it ECHOC? Did I pronounce that correctly? ECHOC Foundation?
What it does is it conducts like training programs. It engages government agencies, non-profits, other NGOs to work on empowering a lot of communities, like from Benguet to Sulu. So the foundation helps us develop more products. Because all of these, as a commercial venture, sometimes it's really not your job to train the producer. Right. But with the foundation, that's its core. Its core is to add value to what would be ordinary products.
Which is really interesting as a model for our viewers who are also thinking of social enterprises. Because what you're essentially doing is a mix.
In MBA, you probably call it supply chain management.
Right.
But for us, it just works well that the two companies are also synergistically working to continuously bring products to market.
Right.
And then we go back to the foundation, say, I'm looking for peanuts. Can you find me peanuts? So the foundation people will go and look for peanut producers, make sure they're organic, they're sustainable, so we can attest to the faithfulness of the source, or the traceability.
But since you started in 2007, and I think the first store was opened in 2008 in Serendra, you're now in about 8 or 9 stores, and you've also partnered or helped more than 100 organizations. Was it over 80,000 beneficiaries, if I have the numbers right? What have been the key success factors that have allowed you to grow to this scale this way? Market
information is key. You might have a really good product, but if the market doesn't like it, then it won't sell. It won't fly. I think the key success factors would be listening to your consumer. I love staying in the stores. I love listening to what people ask for. If somebody goes out without a bag, then there's something we don't have that person needs. We usually ask them, is there anything that you're looking for that we don't have? Chances are they'll also say quinoa or chia seeds. We don't have them locally.
Right.
So we also have to educate the consumer that here we try to promote everything that's locally sourced. Or
local,
there is a local alternative that they can try.
Right.
And we have to tell them, you have to try heirloom rice. Heirloom rice got all the fiber, and It's really educating the consumer.
Well, speaking of which, right, we talked about the produce and where you're sourcing. Well, I think you have a market, a farm that's pretty nearby, right?
Yes, I can show you the farm. I can show you our little community market there,
Right.
and a lot of other produce, even coffee.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Ano po yung mga tinatanim ninyo?
Mga gulay po, tsaka po mga prutas.
Tulad ng...
Tulad po ng lettuce, papaya, pinya, tsaka po yung mga pipino.
Ang tinatanim po namin kadalasan mga leafy vegetables, kagaya ng kale na nakikita natin dito ngayon. Oo.
At paano naman kayo natulungan ng ECHOstore?
Sila ang kumukuha sa mga produkto namin.
Yung mga tinatanim po namin, dinadala po namin dito sa ECHOstore para tulungan kami para i-market yung mga gulay namin.
Ano ba kung ginagawa nyo dati bago mag-ECHOstore?
Minsan po kasi wala masyadong bumibili sa amin. Kaya yung mga gulay po namin prutas, minsan nabubulok lang.
Dati kasi papunda-punda lang kami kung may pwesto kaming pupuntahan, nagbabayad kami ng pwesto. Ngayon, sure na yung pwesto na pinupuntahan namin, dinadalhan ng produkto.
Sana mas malaki ng kita ngayon, no?
Oo, malaki na kahit paano.
ECHOstore established a for-profit business with a heart. But is the market ripe for it? More when we return.
In our work with the foundation too, they want to see how sustainable are you? And if you're sustainable, how can you sustain helping more people?
Right.
ECHOstore faces a number of supply and demand challenges that impact its business.
So in spite of all the success of ECHOstore, you're still essentially operating in what we're calling a sort of like a niche market, maybe targeting upscale, I'm guessing primarily women, perhaps environmentally conscious people. How big of a market is there really? And are more people ready for this stuff?
Well, the market's growing globally, and I think the Philippines is following the global statistic that it grows double-digit every year. So that's good for us. We're thinking of it as a niche market or specialty. So the market is growing by, I would say, 20% every year. So we're in a good place.
But there's always this perception that, if it's healthy, if it's environmentally friendly, then it's a little more expensive. How real is that perception? And to the extent that it is, how are you going to overcome that?
I think price is always relative. Like value is always perceived as what's good for me, I'm willing to pay for it.
Right.
People just have to be mindful of their purchases. It's really in the perception of what's good for me or what's good for the consumer.
Right.
So once people know their choices, because before there were no choices.
Right,
you
right.
buy rice, everything's white. Now there's brown, there's red, there's pink, there's black. But now you see more restaurants doing brown rice.
Right.
So it's growing. You can see that growth even in the food service industry.
How are you getting consumers both to buy your product and also really to buy into the idea of I will go healthy or I will go environmentally friendly?
Well, one is we are also a social enterprise in the sense that we give market access to people who otherwise cannot go to supermarkets, or for merchants who cannot do export quality,
Right.
or who cannot produce in big volumes. So we sort of still play the role of incubator.
Okay.
And as an incubator, you may want your chips to be introduced in the store, but once you're big enough and you have the scale, you're free to move on. And as a risk management strategy, we need to protect the business as well. If we keep just getting brands and they're leaving us and all that, what will be left on our shelves?
Well, related to that, right? So my understanding is ECHOstore has a mix of both your own private label brands and as well as promoting other brands. How are you able to balance against what some may say it's competing interests of promoting your own versus a local product that's maybe a competing product to yours?
We leave the choice to the consumer, like with the long tail phenomenon. People want a little of everything, so it's a long tail. So, for example, virgin coconut oil, we probably carry 5 brands. For coconut sugar, we probably carry 6 brands. It's up to the consumer what he or she may want to buy, try this time, try next time. Because at the end of the day, coconut sugar, rice, all of these are, strictly speaking, commodities.
Right.
But what sets the difference among the brands would be origin, where does it come from? Traceability, who produces it? 3 other qualities of the brand, like it's pretty package, or it comes in a smaller package or a bigger package. So the consumer must have a lot of choices. And at ECHOstore, we try our best to provide the consumer with a whole array of choices.
Since you're working with a lot of SMEs and social enterprises, and since your products are natural and organic, and really they means that perhaps for many of them shorter shelf lives, right? How are you able to manage, this large inventory of products?
Well, that's why we don't have deep inventories. So we have a lot of variants, a lot of different sizes, different flavors, etc. But we always make sure that our inventory is fresh.
Right.
For example, coffee, we don't roast more than we need to sell. What's happening now is you'll be surprised that, for example, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Trade and Industry, they actually help these micro entrepreneurs.
Oh, that's interesting.
They help them as to shelf lifing,
Right.
keeping inventory levels. So we help them with more often than not packaging, because it's got a good shelf life, but it's branded.
Right.
Mike's Bagoong, and Conching's pastillas, So, I mean, there's 10,000 Conchings in the world, right? So these people like to put their brand on it, but they are not looking beyond, like, how will this brand get to the bigger groceries? How will this brand get to the supermarkets? What brand will the consumer of ECHOstore buy? Is it something labeled like modern, or is it something that says the name of the owner?
How important is it for you that the brands sort of remain with ECHOstore? How important is that?
It's important to keep some small ones and some trusted and reliable ones. For example, we've had brands that have been with us from the onset, from 2008. There are brands that have migrated to the supermarkets, became mass market. They probably had to lower their costs, change their ingredients. But we like to keep them, I would say, small, because then you can talk to the owner, you can change flavors, you can change variants. Sometimes being too big does not make you agile to be able to move. And
I guess that's consistent with your advocacy, right? Which is you're helping those without who have a difficult time getting market access, really, right? That's the more marginalized ones.
And we still keep inventory of some already that have graduated to export quality,
right?
As we have some who are like just starting off,
right?
So that's the social enterprise part.
What they now have been talking about lately in terms of successful or sustainable businesses, or what the buzzword that's been going around is these are the triple bottom line businesses. Those that are looking not only at the financial profits, but also the social benefits and the environmental effects of a business. How are you balancing against these 3 concerns, right? With the need to be financially profitable with the other 2 aspects?
First of all, you have to be financially sustainable.
Right.
So we have to make a decent profit.
Right.
And I underscore decent, because it's not like
it's not maximum profit.
It's not maximum profit, really. So that's the financial part. Second, we always ask our suppliers if they're environmentally compliant. And then third is we want to know what kind of impact we make in their supply chain. So we do keep count.
Okay.
We have a lot of, I would say, interested multilaterals who come to us and ask us for impact reports. So it's important that we always measure.
Right.
So we measure the social impact we make. We're almost going to measure now environmental impact. In our work with the foundation too, they want to see how sustainable are you? And if you're sustainable, how can you sustain helping more people?
Right.
And so our partners, our communities that we help, they have to keep count.
So as you grow, or as ECHOstore grows, how are you making sure that the growth is inclusive, that your suppliers, your communities you work with also reap the benefits of that growth?
Exactly. We have to check year on year what happens to the communities. So, for example, we're watching a coffee community in faraway Sulu.
Okay.
That from the time we started helping them, from zero income, they're now at, let's say, 120,000 pesos per family per year. That's something.
Yeah, that's amazing.
From zero, of course, it didn't zoom up there quickly. It took them year on year, baby steps at first. But that is the kind of measurable impact we want to be proud of. And you measure it, and it makes your business become very fulfilling.
ECHOstore has been successful thus far. We'll find out where they go from here when we return.
Like I said, until I taste good coffee everywhere I go, until I see trees planted everywhere we go, I think the mission will never be accomplished. It'll be ongoing for generations to come.
In the last few years, there's been a growing trend towards healthy and green, with more players entering the market like Healthy Options, Sesu Nature Store, and many big brands and small entrepreneurs. At this point, Chit, how do you protect and grow market share?
I think what's different about ECHOstore is that it can be in many places. So it doesn't have to be in malls.
Right.
It can be in street side locations. And that has become, I think, our differentiator amidst the very competitive landscape. So we're also thinking of different models, like you'd have an Eco Market, ECHOstore, Eco Cafe setup, where you can also have like little kiosks.
Right.
Or to-go outlets.
And these are things that others don't necessarily have at this point, no?
They don't have it at this point, and it's something that even we will be experimenting on. In other words, there are demands for smaller footprints for the store. So we're doing that in Iloilo, in Cebu, aside from the main flagships in each province.
So if we ask the question, what's next for ECHOstore, perhaps in the next few years, what are we looking forward to?
Well, of course, in the country, ECHOstore will be expanding. So we'll be in Baguio, down in Zamboanga, and probably in the Visayas. And abroad, there are also inquiries to put similar stores in Singapore, in the ASEAN.
Is global or international expansion really possible? And if so, what would you need to do to make that happen, right?
We are in touch with our ASEAN counterparts.
Right.
In fact, we're going to be having exchanges of training among the different ASEAN countries. So I think ASEAN would be the way to go.
To be consistent with ECHOstore, you'd have to be sourcing from local there, right?
Yes. So you localize the concept,
right,
but with the same spirit of social enterprise, with the same spirit of women empowerment, and with the same spirit for love for the environment.
So it's a perfect opportunity for other countries to also learn from us.
And it's good for them to learn from our experience, because in the tropics, we practically grow all the same stuff.
That's true.
They have coconut as we have coconut.
That's right. That's true.
But one thing nice about this is that we can actually create a collection that can involve other countries.
Well, Chit, one last question for you. When you started ECHOstore, you started not only as a for-profit business, but also as a mission-oriented business. I guess the question there is, at what point is it mission accomplished, if any?
Like I said, until I taste good coffee everywhere I go, until I see trees planted everywhere we go, I think the mission will never be accomplished. It'll be ongoing for generations to come.
Well, Chit, I think that's for the benefit of the future generations then. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mike.
ECHOstore proves that helping consumers make the right product choices is simply good business. I'm Mike Alimurang. Catch you next time for another Bright Idea.